I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. I have no remarks of any kind. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as distributed?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Gary seconded.
And
I'm
all
sure
the,
I'm in trouble.
come on in. Have a seat. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. Agenda approved. We have no public, so there are no public comments. Have a seat, Aubrey. Right there, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Okey-dokey. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as distributed?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Sure.
Moved and seconded. Hi, Fran. Step right up. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as distributed, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Jeff has requested to go first because he has other things he's got to roll with. So Jeff, you're on.
Okay, I guess that there's not too much to update other than we have rejuvenation scheduled for the week of beginning the 23rd for the next 25% of the roads. They're going to divide it up into 4 days, and with a day in allowance in case we have weather or something like that. They should begin to finish that week of the 23rd of June.
That's the start date.
Start date is
23rd.
23rd of June. We've been given a schedule of their days of which roads over the period of that 4 days. So that's upcoming. Being still has not yet finished.
Hello?
I know, Gary, you're probably wondering about
Hello?
Yes. Amy?
Yes.
Hi. We've already started the meeting, so go
We
ahead.
started the meeting and Jeff is giving his report because he has to leave early.
So as I was saying, I did have them back last week to do 2 repairs I was unsatisfied with: the driveway on Bay Drive and the section of road in front of the house on Bay Drive. And at the same time, I had them pave an apron for an individual on Gray Drive whom was told not to. We discussed, I think, at the last meeting, they were told not to do anything. They had put a concrete drive and stopped it at their right-of-way line, and it was just a big hole. So while they were in here working, I had them go ahead and just put asphalt in there. So that was taken care of. As far as the topsoil, remaining topsoil, I hope it should be done in the next few weeks. We're still holding quite a bit of their money until it's completed. But we should feel fortunate to have you started on the county. They did their paving the same time last year. They're very difficult to, they're not a big company and they're difficult to get work done. Right now the county's having a heck of a time with them, but that should be a consideration in the future for future work. Other than that, that's all I have for now.
Any questions to Jeff?
The rejuvenation, I understand that there was an offer for for them to do additional work at a discount. Did you look at that?
Yes, I did.
And do you think that offer will do the rest of what we need? Is it complete?
It is a complete, what they offered up. It was a significant savings, but it's money up front that you're paying for now out of your budget as opposed to later, so it's really a board decision, not anything that I would,
So,
Okay. Any other questions for Jeff?
I can't tell what the subject of that was.
The rejuvenation, Gary's question was, did Jeff see the proposal from the company that's doing the rejuvenation to do all of it up front? And Jeff's response was, yes, I saw it.
Of course you saw it. You talked about it last month.
Okay?
okay.
Okay. So anything else, Jeff?
no.
Okay.
That's it.
You need to Max, that's something,
Yeah, it
Jeff?
was discussed at length at the last meeting, but didn't we make a decision not to do that?
Right.
Right, well, that has nothing to do with Jeff's report right now. That's
True,
gonna
but
come
Gary's
up.
question, it's already been settled.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I don't agree with that, but that's not.
The
for this
motion was
time.
withdrawn and that was not finalized.
Amy,
Amy, Jeff has to leave, so let's finish with Jeff and let me go down the agenda.
That is on the agenda, Dennis.
I'm running the meeting, Amy, you're not. Okay? Thank you. Go ahead,
When
Jeff.
are you going to handle the question of rejuvenation?
Amy, just relax.
It's not a matter of relaxing. Why don't you relax for a change, Dennis? I'm asking when the subject of rejuvenation is on your agenda.
It comes up under committee reports, Amy.
Good.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, good night.
Office update.
Thank you.
Good job.
Office update.
Ugh.
It's kind of lengthy.
Go right ahead. I'm patient.
Just kidding. Okay, a claim was filed against property owners who erected the wall on Mill Creek Drive, right of way, we all remember that. The claim is for the collection of a $500 cost to remove the wall. It will have to be delivered by the sheriff's department since the owners refused to collect certified mail. Total cost of file was $60 higher than usual at $136 due to the need to have the sheriff's office deliver the documents, and that amount will also be collected from the owners. The newsletter, we all know, went out, emailed approximately 700, and more than 500 were mailed sent by U.S. mail. One thing that you need to know, the new website, since we send email through the new website, allows us to track how many people are actually opening their email that we send. And out of the 700 that were sent, 150 were opened, which is not very good statistics at all.
We know they don't read them anyway.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Too bad we can't track the newsletter. Nobody.
That is the news. Well, you mean the U.S. Yeah, exactly.
Mailed them, yeah, right,
Mailed.
nobody read it either.
Exactly. Okay, regarding the complaint on Cove Drive about the excessive speed, remember the woman was in here at the last meeting?
Yes.
Joan Jaquette of the County Department of Public Works conducted a site visit and recommended that we add 5 additional speed limit signs placed at various sites along Cove, Leeson, and Mills Creek Drives. These signs are on order, and she provided a map where these signs ought to be located. She also suggested that we add a speed limit 25 miles per hour at all streets which intersect with Rousey Hall Road. She said that sheriff's deputies might be more willing to issue tickets if that's sort of the norm as you drive into the community. So that's up to the board. And she's also scheduled the speed limit monitor in the coming months. It's booked for a while. Storm cleanup from the May storm. I was out of town, but it's my understanding that fire department and some volunteers removed trees from the roads and placed them along the sides of the roads. Carl Bowen removed the storm debris from the rights-of-way and contacted the county on our behalf regarding having the landfill disposal fee waived. He spoke with Mark Willis at Public Works, who said that although it was too late to request a waiver after future storms, if we contact him immediately, he'll come and he'll conduct a visit and see if he can get the waiver for us, because the landfill fee is pretty high. We've received the engagement letter for the 2014 fiscal year audit from Toll Griffith and Ayers, and I'll be providing a variety of documents, including financial reports, a list of assessments receivable, bank reconciliations, etc. And the audit must be made available to the membership by the September meeting. Cost of the audit is $4,500. And there was an incident at the beach, kind of a busy weekend at the beach with trespassers and people without their hang tags and the smell of weed and so on, marijuana. And oh, morning, I didn't recognize you. But anyway, the sheriff's office was contacted, and the one incident took place after hours, and the deputies were able to open the gate. They walked on down the beach to talk to whoever was down there. People were fishing, they had open containers and so on, but the deputies would not write a ticket because, specifically, we do not have a no trespassing sign at the beach. Even though our rules say no, closed after dark and closed after hours and must be a Drum Point resident and so on. So I went to Ace Hardware, I bought some signs, no trespassing, and a resident that lives down by the beach is going to put those up for us. So there were some other things that went on, but I don't think we want it on videotape.
Can I address that?
Gary, go ahead.
I mean, those of you who've been on the board for a while know that we've circled around with the sheriff and the deputies. We even had deputies come and talk to us about this, I don't even know how many times, and yet they still refuse to do it. They find some reason not to take action. I would like to see members of the board and perhaps the safety committee, and maybe even somebody from the club, and go visit the sheriff and a delegation from the commissioners, and try to impress upon them the importance of safety in our community.
I'm already setting that in motion, and I will be conferring as a part of that with the liaison ad hoc committee between the club and Drum Point, because it's better if two groups going and we have very strong interests in common.
Dwayne?
Can I recommend that? We also talk to the candidates for the sheriff's department and see what their feelings are, and whether they would enforce. It might influence who I vote for.
Okay, good suggestion. Any other comments? I have one question.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
I'll be leaving the board on July 1st,
Yes.
but I'll be here for my term. Okay, because I've been on the Drum Point board for as many years as I can take,
Got it.
okay? Yeah.
Okay.
There's an additional reason for him to go before July 1st, if we would like Peter there, because he's well known to the commissioners on that similar safety subjects, and he needs to do it before July 1st too.
Okay.
Okay. My question is on these speed signs. I'm not sure I understand the status of this now. What would be the next steps? Are we gonna put these signs up that the sheriff has recommended we put up?
Yes.
We're gonna, the speed signs,
Speed
not
limit
the,
signs.
no trespassing.
No, the speed limit signs over on Leeson and Cove and Milk Creek.
Yeah,
Yes.
and who's doing that?
Well, we'll have somebody put them up. I have them on order.
Oh, okay.
We
Got
have
it.
We're buying the signs and we will install them. Dennis,
Okay,
you may be questioning, maybe combining that question with the fact that the county will loan us those speed meters to monitor the speed, and that'll come from the county.
good. Okay, roundtable, anything, Dwayne, we'll start
Oh, yeah,
with the cause?
the Solomon's Fire Department apparently went around and did some testing on the dry sumps that we have installed. Were there 3 or 4 of them in our community? I don't know about the others, but the one over where I live, I noticed that the 4x4s that we had put in the ground to keep people from parking there, the fire department just cut them off at ground level. So we may need to think about replacing those.
It's because they can't get in.
Yes.
Actually, I was made aware of that, and what they've said, they have to be able to access,
I understand.
and they couldn't. What they've suggested, if we want to put some sort of a barrier there, is to have 2 posts with a chain between it, which they would then cut if need be, but then that would
That'd be a lot cheaper than putting 6 posts in the ground.
They also cut them at Riverview, or I was told they were going to, but they haven't already.
Gary?
Yeah, when we put those in, if you'll remember, we went and talked to the fire department, and I talked to the assistant chief, and it was his opinion that we shouldn't put chain in, that the posts would be fine, and if we have to get to it, we'll just knock them down. Neither he nor I thought about when they test. They still gotta get into the test. We're thinking emergency, well, fine, you run over the post, whatever you gotta do, but it's gotta be done when you test it, and apparently they're supposed to test them every year. Yeah, we gotta rethink what we're doing there, we're gonna have to replace them every year, that's no good.
Do you have anything?
The road committee will take that up.
Okay.
No, I don't have any.
Wait, Gary, anything roundtable? Anything roundtable? Nothing from me. Amy, anything for roundtable?
Nothing recently.
Kurt?
No.
just, elections, primary elections are coming up. I want everybody to go out and vote. We don't get enough vote in this district, and we've got a bunch of candidates running, and we need to think about changing things. So get out there and vote.
I have a question about that, Max, maybe you can answer. It's a primary. Can anybody vote in the primary?
Only registered Republicans and Democrats
Okay.
Yeah.
For their own party.
Not really.
for their own party, yeah.
Yeah, independents have to wait till general.
General elections.
Vote
Fran,
twice for me.
Fran, anything?
No, no.
Aubrey? Okay. Committee reports. There's a listed item here called action items. I'm not sure.
We did
We
That
did
was
that.
Jeff.
That was Jeff. Oh, okay. All right. Gary, you're up next. Roads Committee.
Okay, well, I was gonna talk about the dry hydrants, but we just talked about that. The other thing is that, in my review of the video of, to stay on top of what's going on, I looked at the video twice of the meeting.
Video of the meeting.
Of last meeting.
Okay.
And I noticed that, the board did not approve the contract. And the contract, there was talk about the contract, there was a motion, Dennis made a motion to approve the contract, but you withdrew the motion on advice that we didn't have to vote on the contract. I would point to our policies and procedures where it says any contract over $5,000 needs to be approved for the board before the president can sign it. So that, she already signed it, but that was, I would say, needs to be reconsidered. So while I looked around, I looked at the offer that Total Asphalt has made to us, and to do the entire process, all the roads, and that's a savings of $13,800, almost $13,900. And I think we should consider that. That's a significant savings. If we don't do it this year, we will do it next year anyway. The only question I had was, do we have the money? And that's to Larry's point, do we have enough money to make sure we don't dig ourselves a hole and can't get out of it? So I have since found out that the county says we have $100,000 in reserves. They are encouraged that we do all the rejuvenation this year. And Tim said that it was his opinion that the commissioners would love to have us do that. And so the question then is, well, if we do that and we spend our money down to, say, $15,000, $20,000 from 100, what if we have an emergency? And he said, well, come October, November, you're going to have new funds coming in. I don't see, you will have at least $100,000 come winter if you have an emergency. So I think I would move, with all that information, that we reconsider and perhaps approve, no, not perhaps, I move that we approve the new contract at $78,800 and have the whole work done at this year.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second it, and I'd like to
Hold on, Amy.
add some information.
I'll get to you in a moment.
Great.
Yes, I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Amy?
Thanks, Dennis. I'd like to, with all respect, Gary, I have a slightly different take on the figures, but I was the one that did speak to Tim Hayden, and let me just go through this. Last month, there were 3 things that I needed to firm up before take a clear position myself on which contract to take. And one was, when were the roads rejuvenated? And would we be jumping the gun and rejuvenating the last 25% too soon? Well, the fact is there was some discussion last month that we've been rejuvenating for several years. But in fact, after after the meeting, later that week, Rita looked it up for me, and all of the roads were rejuvenated at once 7 years ago, maybe within a month of each other. So they're all aging at the same rate, and they are all in equal need of protection. Secondly, I needed to be sure that the county, because rejuvenation had been a hot button issue in the past with some members of the community, and I was one of the defenders in the hearings of rejuvenation. In any event, I had to be sure the county was comfortable with our going ahead and doing it all at once instead of spreading it out and yet another year. And as Gary said, they're encouraging it. Thirdly, I needed to know what the carryover was. Now, the amount of money, my figures, Gary, are a little bit different from yours. The carryover is a bit over 100, the SCD carryover right now is a bit over 100,000. But we have 45K set aside for STD expense this year. So we'd be biting into it another 30,000. We'd be bringing it down an additional 30,000. Now I did a calculation, and if you look very, very carefully at everything, I think the increment is more than 13,000 that we're saving, because this year there's about it would cost $55,000 if you calculated to do next year's roads at the same rate that they would do this year's roads alone. So it's probably a $20,000 increment that we'd save. So knowing all of that, I see no reason, and the fact that the county is confident that we have money to handle any snow emergencies by the time the snow flies, I feel confident in backing what Gary said.
Max?
Yeah, this is all in conflict with information that I have too, because just recently in discussions with the finance office there, they are not going to pay several of our bills, which we submitted to them for such things as rejuvenation, because the money exceeds the budgeted amounts in the BOCC budget. And so they are deferring payment of those things until after July the 1st. So you don't have those numbers in with your reductions of carryover and so on. There were other things that the roads that are going to be rejuvenated needed to be restriped if they did, and that cost has to be taken off or subtracted from any savings that we might have there also. This was all discussed at the last meeting.
But without dollars and
Amy,
cents. And
It doesn't matter, the dollars were way over our budgeted amounts anyway, so it doesn't matter whether it's $1 more or $1,000 more, it doesn't really matter. But we had decided some time ago to budget and program out the rejuvenation so that we wouldn't incur huge costs, even at the lost opportunity of giving up savings that we could have had. That's one. Originally, when we did it that one time, it was a great saving because they did it all at one time. But we didn't have the future money to do that at one time like that, so the board's decisions at those times were to spread that out over a 5-year period. You've been executing it at a 4-year period here, and you know, again, the county is not telling the people who are working there that we can spend this money. They've been very jealous. They are going by the county rules of no more than, what is it, $15,000 expenditure, and at that point they have to go to the Board of County Commissioners to get relief from their budgetary restraints. So I'm not hearing this thing, and I think that maybe I should be involved with any more of these discussions about spending this money in the county here, because while they're free to say things up there, they don't speak for the Board of County Commissioners, and apparently they're not talking to their staff members either who are executing the programs. So
oh, they were, but
we have a lot of problems and disconnects here. So
Dwayne, you had your hand up.
I think we should look Well, I think we should maybe make an estimate how much we would be saving in materials if we did it now, because oil-based products are going up right now. So maybe there'd be a savings in materials, but I feel like if we have an opportunity to do all the roads at one time and to have some savings, then we ought to put something together, present it to the county commissioners so that they know why we're doing it, what kind of savings we can have, just in case the administrative people up there, you know, are going to make us. Or
Dennis, I
not.
can't tell who has their hand up. But
Well,
I just
I'm done.
wanted, do call on me in turn, please.
I will. Gary?
It's my understanding, Max, that the money that's been held by the county was, or I wasn't aware of any money being held, but they didn't want to pay because it had nothing to do with any.
It exceeded our budget spending for the year.
But they weren't capital projects or anything to do with roads, it was all admin, is my understanding. Is that right, Rhea?
I think that's, excuse me, part of it. I think what Robin had a problem with was the 13,000 or so that I had to request because there was a requirement that we pay 30% down. Well, I've requested it and she's paid it out in this fiscal year. But what she'll do is expense it to next fiscal year. That was her conflict with it, is that I've requested it, it goes off her books now, but it's really next year's money. So she just expenses it in next year's.
Well, that's what we discussed, was since
That's holding.
But I thought that was the issue.
Amy?
Well, wait a minute, I'm not finished.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, hold on, Amy. I really, you know, this was vetted. Amy went and talked to Tim and Robin, and got a reading from them to make sure that we weren't, you know, doing something that wasn't gonna fly. I think you gotta take that at face value, that the county's not gonna have a problem with it. And with the, you know, they're very familiar with our expenses. If they say we're not gonna get into trouble, and by Amy's take and my take, we're not gonna get into trouble, I think that's, it would be silly to walk away from a savings of, by whose number, $13,000 to $20,000. I think that would not be inappropriate and not a good fiscal responsibility.
Amy?
Thank you, Dennis. I just want to note two things to add to the brew. Gary and I had talked about the point that Jeff made last month that some of the roads in the last priority would need to be restriped, and Gary had pointed out to me that actually we had done more striping than we really needed previously, and so the restriping cost might not be all that much. Secondly, I just want to point out that these roads are now 7 years. Next year, they're going to be 8 years out from rejuvenation, and there's a lot of stress on the roads in some places, and they are becoming more brittle and showing a lot of cracks. So that you need to add to the cost, besides that extra increment that we pay, the fact that we probably have more outright road repairs to cover next year than if we get the rejuvenation done now.
Did you have something to
I
add,
have one more
Gary?
thing, yeah, that I meant to mention, I forgot. The add-ons that, there are two add-ons to having this work done. One is the crack filling. That's at a per foot cost. That's gonna be what it is. You either pay it now or you pay it when it's done next year. The other is striping. The striping is an add-on, but you know what? If we do this next year, we're gonna stripe next year too. So that cost doesn't go away just because you don't do it this year. The cost is still gonna be there.
Max?
Yeah, this, again, this is short-term thinking on the board's part here, because we've had long-term decisions made about the reserves, the spending reserves, the scheduling of the repairs to the road, repaving, rejuvenating, everything like this. All you're gonna do now is bunch this up again, where in 7 years' time, we're gonna have to come up with a decision to go ahead and rejuvenate all the roads at one time again or something. this creates a huge bump in the fiscal requirements, and it means that we're gonna have to rethink how much money we're gonna have to collect between now and then in order to achieve that kind of payment again. This has not been in the schedule for the association for many years now, so this is a complete change in strategy here to do this, and it's gonna have to take some thinking about the future as to what you're gonna do, because you just can't make a decision this year and say, well, we'll think about the road repairs in 7 years. In about 7 years, all the roads are basically due for a 20-year repaving anyway. And that has been scheduled over several years also. So, you know, again, the board has been very short-sighted in not taking all these considerations into fact.
Sorry?
I'll call for the vote.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to, actually, it's amending the budget, because it's in the budget to do certain amount of money for rejuvenation. So what we're doing here, I think, is amending the budget. But that being said, there's a motion on the floor to to do all of the rejuvenation in this current year, as opposed to spreading it out. Is that sort of summing up what your motion is, Gary?
Yes.
Did you have a question?
Yes. Are we sure that offer still stands because we signed it?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
They checked that.
Sorry.
That part they checked. I
Okay.
mean, a good question. Go ahead,
Another
one point.
The bill for this rejuvenation won't come in until the next fiscal year anyway.
Okay. So the motion on the floor, all those in favor, signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, Amy's 4, 5, 6. Your hand up, Aubrey, 7. All opposed? 2. It passes 7-2. Okay, anything else, Gary, on the roads committee?
No.
Finance committee, Max?
We just have the standard reports in front of you. We are approaching nearly the year end, so these are getting to be pretty good numbers for the year. Our DPPOA income is up, mostly because of the reassessments that we've done, and actually the compliance with the people to pay it. The SURE funds are up slightly too also, so that's good news. And apparently it was a good year for the STD because those collections are also up quite a bit. So there is more money coming in than was expected. As has been stated before, the legal expenditure is about 10 times what we had budgeted, and we are budgeting more next year for that. Let's see, security is about the same.
Can I ask you a quick question? Is there any insight on why the security, why the, it was the legal, right? Why, is there any insight on why that's higher than we expected?
So all of the requests we've had to the lawyer to make opinions on different questions that have come up, as well as the covenant research that was done to determine our strategy to go ahead, that was probably the largest amount of it. But there were lots of questions where we've asked for letters and opinions, and those are $300 or $400 a piece, I guess. So they add up quite a lot.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
Just a note to Rhea here, it looks like there's still money left in the STD budget for your salary, so you might want to take one more payment from there.
Well, yeah, there will be one more.
Well,
I'll look at it.
supposedly you've been doing it from DPPOA now, so
I can
anyway,
transfer, okay.
there's about $3,000 left, should cover another payroll there anyway, to use up that money. Road repairs, of course, have been way up. Drainage clearing, I don't know what we're doing there. A lot of swales and pipes, almost $5,000 there. I haven't heard what that was all about. And of course, the snow removal for the year was the big big hit. So rejuvenation already this year, we've been billed $63,000 for rejuvenation, so I'm not too sure that those are correct, because we only had a contract for $44,000, I think.
One is for,
What's the other
one is for
13,000?
2013, and then this 13 comes on our books. This 13,000 is the down payment for the upcoming fiscal year.
Oh, that's the down payment for next year.
Right,
Oh,
so it's
okay.
46, or 49,639, so we are a little over, but not that much.
But if we've paid down on a contract that we've signed,
I spoke with Doug McKenzie at Total Asphalt, and he said just call him in the morning with the decision. They can add the roads, so.
all right, we'll have to relook at the money situation when we get Robin's reports as to what the bank at the county is actually holding. 'Cause we're only showing $125,000, and that's probably as of the end of April or so.
Yeah, it is an individual.
So there's been 2 more months of withdrawals against that since then, and there'll be another one at the end of June, which will bring that number down quite a bit, so we'll have to relook at those numbers.
Okay.
The total for the combined new rejuvenation is like 78,000,
78, I think, 70 or 79.
as opposed to the 46 or whatever it was.
Anything else, Max?
No,
Okay, Amy, you have an environmental report?
And nothing environmental this month.
Okay, thank you. Planning committee, Gary?
No report?
No report. Any old business? Hearing none. Any new business? Hearing none. The next meeting is,
I don't have my calendar.
yeah,
First will be the
Second
first.
Tuesday of
it'll be
July.
the second Tuesday of July,
Eighth.
something like
Is
that.
that right? Eighth? Somebody get a calendar. Kurt's all over.
The 8th.
Eighth.
July 8th,
Very good.
okay? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
May I ask
Wait a
a
minute.
question?
What? You have a question? Yes,
Does the
sir.
dry hydrant pass the test?
You know, I haven't heard. I will check.
Okay? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.